So what do you want to do there?
All right, everybody, welcome back on day number 2 in beautiful Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Great aerial shot as we are live here today at the Pennsylvania State Farm Show Complex. Day number 2, Harrisburg yearling sale. Mark McKelvey on the desk, joined by Anthony McDonald. Anthony, day number 1 complete. We've moved on to day number 2. Feels like we've already been here for about a week, but
some of us a little longer than others.
But we're back already and set for a second day. But of course, for those that tuned in when we were in Lexington, we always take this time right off the top the next day to look back at the day that was previously. And day number 1 was a very good day for the stable. You add a few new recruits, 4 in fact, and from start to finish, you were involved. But we'll get horse by horse in just a moment. Yeah, 2 to 167. We'll get to horse by horse in just a second, but overall, your feelings and reactions to day number 1.
You know, it's what I love about the sales, and it's not what everybody can do because they don't really approach the sales the same way we do. We had a couple of partnership like buckets of money to buy horses from, and the horses I thought I would get, again, in this sale, I didn't get. I had an opportunity to buy what I would consider my number 1 pick of the sale. I was the underbidder, and the money was there to buy the horse. Just for whatever reason, I didn't pull the trigger at the last second, and it had nothing to do with concern or fear. It had everything. I don't know what it had to do with. It's just one of those things I didn't do, and you know, you can't always make the right decisions, and sometimes when you think you make the right decisions, they're not right at all. So we'll find out next July if I made the right decision or not.
That's what I was going to say, really. I mean, the decision's not going to be right or wrong today or tomorrow. It's going to be well down the road. And overall, like you said, you went in with a bit of a game plan, but at the same time, you were going to continue to watch each horse come through, and that's kind of how the day went on.
Yeah, we stuck to the game plan. Yeah. The game plan wasn't deviated from. We had a long list of horses that we were very, very interested in. It was a funny story. You had Robert Lidstrom on here. I was doing a video this morning, and I ran out of time. I stopped, and I'll do it later on. But when you had Robert Lidstrom on, when he was in the back, we were talking, and it's funny how things go. You know, all the horses we looked at, I thought fit our mold. What we were looking for, and yesterday we went in looking for a couple of Pennsylvania fillies. We got them. We didn't get the Ontario Trotting Colts yet because there hadn't been any sold. We will get them. But I was sitting over there with Mr. Lidstrom, and he was telling me about the fillies he liked. Now, for those of you following along yesterday, you knew that Amy's top pick was 109. It became very evident to me, both from looking at the filly and then seeing the other people that were looking at the filly, that we were not going to get 109. So we were standing over there, and he had said, yes, I love 109, beautiful filly. He knew everything about her, which only made it more clear that Amy was not getting a horse yesterday. But what I found funny was we both had looked at a list of 4 or 5 horses we thought were quality horses yesterday, really quality horses, and he transitioned so quick. What a guy like Robert Lidstrom is looking for is the top, right? The delayed Hanover Sister or Hip 109 from yesterday. He's looking for the best pedigree and best looking horse in the sale, and he will find a buyer for that horse. We're not there.
Right.
We're looking for the horses that he maybe had near on his list, but maybe crossed off because maybe they weren't quite as big as he hoped, or maybe they weren't as perfect as they hoped. And he had told me that one of the nicest horses he saw yesterday that he was interested in was number 2. Now, full disclosure, I did not look at number 2. I saw her in the back ring, same as you did as we were concluding the show yesterday, but I didn't look at her. She's in the ring, and I'm thinking, yesterday when we have that partnership of $300,000, we're looking for $40,000 or $50,000, 20 to 50 horses that we can move around and fit in those partnerships. 80 really is a tough place to be, right? It's not quite in that premium horse package that we were putting together, and it's not. It kind of disrupts things in that bucket. And I was thinking that this was an $80,000 or $90,000 filly, and as she was in the ring, we were standing right there at that pillar. We had just walked away from the table minutes before, and she stalls at 40, and it became very evident to me in the blink of an eye that they were about to sell this filly for 40. I walked over to the thing. The guy looked at me right away, and I bid $42,000, and we bought the horse. As I turned around, the look on Amy's face was astonishment. She said, "That was not one of our horses." I said, "No, it wasn't. It was. You didn't know it, and even I didn't know it until I spoke to the gentleman. But here's a guy that you think I look at a lot of horses. He looks at a lot of horses, and he was right. We went back and looked at the filly. She was a very, very good-looking filly. And actually, when before the end of the day, I had no less than 4 people come up to me and ask me exactly what I told you right here in this chair. I want to be the guy when people look at the sale results and say, how did this happen? How did that horse go for that? I want to be the guy holding that ticket. And no less than 4 people come up and said, hey, I don't understand how that filly only went for 42,000. And that is exactly what we were looking for. And it's funny how things happen, because that filly was not on my list, but fit exactly what we were looking for. So we may have actually stumbled upon, very luckily, by the way, a really nice horse. And again, 8 months we'll talk about this. But when you're looking at the sale, when you're leaving the sale and you're saying, what did I do with the sale? How did things work out? I think number 2 was just an absolute perfect puzzle piece for us.
It got the day started off on the right note, and there's a lot of variables that go into a sale, an auction. One of them being right off the bat, I didn't even know they'd started. There was no audio in the back here.
There wasn't.
Hip number 1 went through, and I don't think anybody realized. Maybe they still weren't sure at hip number 2.
Yeah.
So it just kind of shows. Sometimes you just have to be in those moments, and
you have to be
I
ready.
think a lot of people probably weren't ready when the sale started yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, when you look, you hit it right on the head. Wheels on Fire's brother. Now he was a giant, so a lot of people might look at him and said he's too big. But if they actually knew Wheels on Fire and they didn't mind maybe waiting till his 3-year-old season, you could have got a real good bargain. So John McDermott may have done a great piece of work there with that colt. But when you going back to what you said, it didn't take very long for the fireworks to start shortly thereafter, number 2. So I think we might have really lucked into something with number 2. At least, again, take it for what it's worth, a grain of salt. Maybe the horse is no good next year, I have no idea. But what we bought yesterday, what I consider to be quite a bit more than a $42,000 filly from what I saw yesterday here at Harrisburg.
Yeah, we've got videos on all of the purchases from yesterday, so let's jump right into that. We'll pull up hip number 2, Insider Trading, a bay filly by Green Shoe, first crop of Green Shoe. This is a sibling to the champion J.L. Cruz, who just recently wrapped up his very long and very lucrative racing career. He was a world champion, he trotted sub 150, and here you get a sibling to a horse, and again, I guess just even as a filly, the value there as well, right? Not just on the racetrack.
And that's the other thing, is that when you look at residual breeding value for a horse, J.L. Cruz, 50 lifetime wins, most of those at the top tier of horse racing. A mark of 149.4. So here's her brother. This is a Green Shoe, and I don't know the sale price averages for Green Shoe in Lexington, but I can assure you it was well above 42. I knew you would do that. So Mark's going to look at that quickly for you. So we have a Green Shoe filly who has a brother that has 50 wins, a mark of 49, and a multiple world champion. And you don't have the answer yet?
I'm working on it. Don't
wow,
worry.
You're really slipping.
Well, the Wi-Fi's a little slow.
Oh, okay, I understand. So, as I said, when you look at a horse for racing, very, very good-looking filly. When you look at residual breeding value, you're not going to do much better than this right here. She's a beautiful page, beautiful filly, and certainly no concerns with pulling the trigger on Insider Trading. And
the average price of a Green Shoe yesterday, $102,000.
There you go. So we come in at 40,
and that's from 19 sold. So.
40%.
Yeah.
She was 40% off.
Not bad.
60% off.
Yeah.
60% off. Anyway, what I would consider a good piece of business for us. Again, this sounds silly because no one knows. We're not racing them today. We were going to break them next week and train them down, and by next July we'll get a good look. But when you're looking at getting a head start, or at least getting a good foundation in your stable, having horses like that, that could be, might be, should be, those are the ones you definitely want in your barn. At $42,000, I thought we did a hell of a job yesterday with this filly.
Let's continue on. Hip number 54 would be the next purchase, and here's a horse that we did have circled and we talked about yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think for those that are watching along, it is nice. I'm sure the ones tracking our show each day have those horses written down, the ones they're going to keep an eye on, and then see that, yes, Anthony was able to come through, was able to purchase one of these, not one that we didn't know a whole lot about, but hip number 54, a $77,000 purchase. First foal from a Trixton Mare Fellowship of 2. This is a Father Patrick, dual eligible.
Yep.
We haven't talked a lot about that this week yet, but again, that dual eligibility, there's rumors out there. Kentucky, the rumor is those purses are going to keep going up for that Sire Stakes program, whether you're in the top tier or the next tier. There's a lot of money available for a horse that has that dual eligibility. Yeah, Kentucky lay dormant for a little while, was obviously one of the heavyweights in horse racing for the longest time, laid dormant for a little while. And man, with this year and the whispers of next year, looks like there's going to be a lot of business to be done in New York, in Kentucky. But having said that,
everybody's going to be in Kentucky.
Oh, everybody will.
You might want to do business there, but don't kid yourself. It's not going to be a ghost town when you blow in either. There's going to be a lot of people there. And I did a little homework on this horse particular, a little more after what my friend Steve would call a deep dive on this horse. This mare, first foal, this Trixton mare, herself was a $415,000 yearling. $415,000 yearling when she was bought. I was going to say here, but I don't know if it was here. It was here or Lexington, one or the other. So this horse is right around what I thought we'd pay for him. Again, you slip into that 80, 90 range. I was a little worried, but this horse almost was on one of my, that premium horse list. Is this the one? Is this the one we're going to go after? And I didn't really know how it would play out, but at 77,000, I actually had him. And truth be told, I had the horse right here marked at 72, but this was a horse I thought just a very, very nice video, very well put together when we went back and looked at him yesterday. Just an immaculate looking horse. And again, another horse that I had a couple of people say to me yesterday, I thought, it was not a steal. You're not going to say, oh, geez, you stole that horse for $77,000. But at the same token, I think that was a very good purchase. And I like when people come up. It makes me feel like I'm doing my job well. So Memory and Imagination, a horse that we looked at before the sale, that we talked about before the day one, on the day one show, and a horse that we were able to acquire 100%. This horse was 100% right down to what we were looking for and exactly what we wanted. So he was an easy purchase, a horse that I liked. And again, we don't know till next July, but another one of those foundation horses. You guys know that we had, for our clients out there, that this horse is a direct relative of the horse we bought last year that we touted quite highly, Brace for Landing. And although he hasn't lit the world on fire, he hasn't shamed himself either. 2 wins this year in 56 as a 2-year-old on a 5/8 mile track, both on 5/8 mile tracks. Raced in the kindergarten the other day, may race in the Valley Victory potentially before the end of the year, and a very, very strong family here. And the filly, so Brace for Landing's sister, sold for $475,000 yesterday. So that would have been a sister to Fellowship of Two, the mother of Memory and Imagination.
Yeah, you just took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to mention that when that one came through, that we noticed it right away, Brace for Landing sibling, and like you said, 400,000 plus.
Amy's got good taste. I think she picked out 3 horses yesterday, and they weighed in at about $1.4 million in purchase price. So
I did tell her she might as well just become an agent. No problem. We'll just get the people together. Can pick out the best ones. There's no doubt about that. Let's continue on. Hip number 94 would be the next purchase, and here's one that a lot of fans of racing that have been tracking this year will be very familiar with this family. Hip number 94. Time is on my side. 165,000. Here is a sibling to Forever Boy, one of the best 3-year-old pacing colts in North America this season. A winner of a Little Brown Jug Heat, several Grand Circuit events. 165,000. Is this the most you've ever gone on a yearling at a yearling sale?
How much did you have to drink last night, Mark?
No, I'm serious.
King of the North sister was 180 in Lexington.
Yes. Sorry, you're right. You are right.
Time is on my side was an easy purchase, but was probably my number 5 pick horse overall, only because I thought that Tim's crew would be looking at this horse. And when we went to look at this horse, when that video you're looking at, maybe not the one from yesterday, but the one we did before of this horse, Nancy was looking at. All the big trainers in the industry were looking at this horse. Now, again, how can you find yourself into what I would call a really, really good-looking colt and maybe not have to pay that ridiculous sale ring money for him? Well, first one would be First Crop Sire, Captain Crunch, right? Second would be Pennsylvania eligible only, no Kentucky on this guy. And that doesn't mean you can't go to Kentucky, you just can't race in Kentucky sires. Right. Now, it is worth noting for the people out there that maybe don't know, you can't race everywhere. These aren't race cars, they're horses. And you can't race in Pennsylvania and Kentucky at the end. You'd have to skip one Pennsylvania leg, go to Kentucky, then you could potentially do really well, but how are you gonna race in both? I mean, they're hours and hours away. You're talking about shipping these horses all over the planet. You really can't. So Kentucky does have all the big races, Tattersalls, and all the big Grand Circuit races, much like Mohawk does and the Meadowlands has. There's no way that you could race a horse in Pennsylvania and Kentucky and all the Grand Circuit races. It's impossible. So all you're doing is widening your potential, right? Your paths. We talk about this in our stable all the time. Paths forward. Well, you have to look at a horse like this first off and say, Forever Boy was up against it. Like you're talking about racing in one of the deepest divisions in the entire industry right now was that that crew.
Yep.
I guess the 3-year-olds, they weren't the toughest division of 3-year-olds ever.
No,
but they were very good horses.
It's a good group.
Yeah, 100%.
And he didn't miss a dance.
He never missed one. I think he made $750,000. Now I'll tell you, he made a big chunk of it after that because he did make $700,000, take a mark of 49, and most of that was in the latter part of his 3-year-old season. He was a major player in the Little Brown Jug, right? Major player in the Little Brown Jug. Won the race up in Toronto.
The
Simcoe, yeah. And raced in, as you said, every major race. So, I mean, quality horse, quite frankly, I did feel a little bad after. I thought that Tim's crew maybe would have bid, but there's no way for me to know, right? I'm looking at this point, we're at number 94. I have already bid on 7 very expensive horses and got none of them. I've got to time is on my side, right? I didn't really see Tim around, and I didn't talk to him before. And after seeing all the trainers that had that horse out, I just assumed if we got him in our range, which that was the last bid I could make on this horse, by the way.
Yep.
If we did get him, it would be not over top of Tim, right? And anytime you're at a sale, and I know everybody in here, and everybody knows one another, it's not easy all the time. And I did feel bad after because I think he might have been the other bidder on the horse, but. It is what it is. I like the horse. He liked the horse. I think he's as far as the horses at this sale, I think he was one of the better looking horses I looked at. Now, everybody looks at something different. Everybody's looking for a different type, different muscle type, different body type. But for what I was looking for at this sale, probably one of the better looking horses I've seen in quite a while.
The Captain Crunch, first crop. Again, unknown how they're going to perform, but it's always interesting to get in on the ground floor is how I look at it.
I mean, Captain Crunch was a Captain Treacherous that went in 47 and made lots and lots of money. And I can assure you, if you pull up Captain Crunch, it isn't just Captain Crunch and a bunch of no-names underneath.
No.
It's a strong family.
Yep.
And nobody does know, as you said.
Yep.
I don't know what they're going to race like. Nobody knows what the Captain Crunches are going to be like or anybody else. We're just trying to buy the best horses we can. This was no giveaway. But when I looked at what the people in our circles that I hold in high regard had priced this horse at, and I look at what I priced this horse at, $165,000, although it was a little bit stretch above what we were looking to actually accomplish, I don't think anybody in that partnership is going to complain. That was, as I said, I felt very, very good about making that purchase yesterday, and I'm very happy to get the horse.
Nice pacing colt that comes to the stable. Looked like maybe that was going to be it for the day, but you hung in there. Hit 167, the final horse that sold yesterday. I have to admit this, we weren't even aware until we got back to the hotel that you'd purchased this horse. We don't actually have a video, unfortunately. We'll see if we can get something. They might already be moving on out, but hip 167, flash fly. This is a Bay Filly, green shoe again. And how many green shoes now? 4 or 5, I would guess.
I think, listen, when we approach sale season, we're always looking for how can we do the most for the least amount of money, right? You had green shoe coming, so Father Patrick was going to lose some of the market share.
Yep.
So we ended up buying 3 or 4 or 5 Father Patricks. And Father Patrick can be a little moody. They're hit and miss. You're going to have people that like them and some people don't. But at the end of the day, he's thrown quality horses also. So Father Patrick was an obvious way in for us, both in Lexington and Harrisburg. Green shoe, one of the most highly touted sires. Again, first crop. But when you talk about, if people rewind a little bit and remember back when Walner came out, we bought 2 Walners the first year because Walner was just a first crop sire. And I think he was so dominant as the 2 and 3-year-olds were so dominant. I believe that people are like, I think we have to go to green shoe. We can't, that old adage, we just can't go and buy the first crop sire. It's just not going to fly because Walner was just so dominant. I think that people looked at it, and I think if you look at what green shoe could do it, when you get all the best mares in the industry too, you're going to have a good year. Can you only imagine how bad a sire green shoe would have to be for him not to be successful this year?
Yeah.
It's highly unlikely that this horse doesn't turn out to be a fantastic sire. Walner got great mares, green shoe got great mares. You are going to see quality green shoe horses this year. So for us to be able to sneak in the side door, there are some people that are maybe leaning towards Walner instead of green shoe. Fine, we'll take those green shoes. Like number 2, right? If you're going to allow us to buy quality pedigrees and gamble on a first crop sire, we've done it, we'll do it, and we'll continue to do it because there's a lot of value there.
you come away with 2 green shoes, 69,000 total. Like I mentioned, the average price yesterday for a green shoe, 102,000. So they're certainly in demand. Just looking at Hip 167, that filly comes from a mare that's produced 4 winners out of 7. Do you look at that though when you see like about almost a 50% track record as a mare? The one thing that does stand out for me though, the ones that have performed very well. You got a couple 6-figure earners, including Fashionable Woodchopper, a Grand Circuit winner that's made almost $500,000.
Yeah, so a lot went into that purchase yesterday. Amy won. We were all getting, even though it wasn't a long day, we were all tired.
Yeah.
Especially you're going to be really tired today, I suspect. But a lot of people were tired at the end of the day. For whatever reason, this hits you so different because Kentucky, you get the whole day. Go home and have a nap, maybe. Have an early supper, and then head to Lexington, and you got the whole night ahead of you. Right here, you guys, you probably had to get drug out of bed with a bulldozer this morning. Brought down to the sale arena, sit in front of a table at 9
We beat you here, I just want to point that out.
You did beat me here. But it's just a different feel. So this horse was important. Amy liked this filly, right? I liked her, but Amy really liked her. Now, what Amy didn't know about this filly until I found out after was the brother, I don't know where he fit on the top horses sold last year. This horse right here, Craft Made, $610,000 yearling at this sale last year was this horse. So people like this family, but at the same token, when you're looking at the last horse in the sale on day one, again, green shoe, although highly touted, is a first crop sire. Maybe Craft Made left a little bad taste in somebody's mouth last year. Who knows? But for whatever reason, again, we were able to acquire a horse with quality pedigree. Fashion Woodchopper beat me at the wire with Lawmaker in the Pennsylvania final as a 2-year-old. And as you pointed out, $500,000 made, 16 wins, was a quality animal. So a good family, again, first crop sire, and we were able to acquire this horse for $27,000. I thought pretty good business decision for us heading into day 2. And you really have to be ready. We could have done what everybody else did and just said, see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we waited until they crossed the finish line, so to speak, before we headed out.
It sounds crazy to think for those that aren't here, but the sun sets, it's dark by the time that last horse is going through. There's a lot of light, natural light that comes through here. So once the sun goes down, it gets a little dark and dingy in here.
A bit of a dungeon,
yeah, exactly. And I think people are like, all right, well, when's dinner?
Time to go.
Yeah, they're ready to go home, and hey, there's still horses to go through.
I'll tell you what, you think yesterday was a little tiresome at the end?
This will be
5.6 million horses here today. I think it is going to be a marathon through to the end of the sale. There are so many things going on. Today, we have a number of clients out there looking at horses right now. I'm going to go out and revisit some. I think we have a number of horses to showcase today also, if I'm not mistaken. So just really, really happy overall with the way things went. There's just so many emotions that go into the sales. And, the reason that we do this show, the reason we did the show in Lexington, we want everybody to at least maybe get a feel for what we feel.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just such an emotional roller coaster being here. I scratched my head for 10 minutes when I didn't pull the trigger on that filly yesterday, but then ended up with number 94, the pacer, Captain Crunch Pacer. So although I didn't get what I had touted as my number 1 pick going into the sale, I did pump the brakes right before then. I got a horse that I didn't think we'd be able to acquire that I'm super, super happy that we got.
Well, the sale's going to get underway today at 10 a.m. There's a reason it's starting at 10 a.m. Over 350 horses to sell today.
God,
so it will be a marathon session. We're going to take a closer look at some of the horses selling today, some that might be targets for thestable.ca. We'll take a look at that on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. We're live from Harrisburg, and we'll be right back.
Good. This is number 171, Alms Hanover. It's a nice Cantab haul. Colts. We haven't had a ton of luck with Cantabs, but other people have. My God, he's been a great sire over the years. And when you're talking about value, you're going to see, now that Green Shoe is here, Father Patrick's going to be a little used up. Some of the sires that have been, they've been so strong for the last generation are going to fall by the wayside a little bit. And Cantab Hall is in that category. So you're going to see some really, really good-looking Cantab Halls put together well, have lots of breeding on the back end that may not bring a ton of money in. Those are the types of things we're going to continue to look at, right? Whether it's first crop sires or sires that are maybe a little long in the tooth, but still strong mares. there's nothing that jumps off the page until you get way down to the third and fourth dam, or the fourth dam of this horse. But man, when I look at the horse himself, when I look at this colt, you know, a Cantab Hall, single jurisdiction colt, selling May 5th foal, selling, you know, geez, I think this is later in day one or early in day number two. I can give you a number of reasons why this horse may, as I say, sometimes fall through the cracks. Nobody's going to miss him. He's not bred to be a world champion. He's just a really well bred, or well put together, good looking colt, decently bred. And you know what? As I said, we're still after horses that are going to do some good for the barn. And just because you say value play, it doesn't mean we're looking for cheap horses. We're looking for horses that can fill our barn up and make an impact next year, and they can't all be number one prospects. We do have to fill the barn with horses that could be, might be, should be, and hope that they are. And this is exactly what number 171 Elms Hanover represents. An opportunity to see a really good looking horse and see what he becomes in the future. So a horse that we are looking at very seriously, that we may have an opportunity to purchase, is number 171 Elms Hanover, selling either, I believe it's early on day number 2 here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So this is number 172. Again, we're looking for Pennsylvania trotting fillies. This happens to be a Pennsylvania only trotting filly. Now I looked at her pedigree. Her pedigree looked okay, but she looks really nice. Now when I walked up to her immediately, I looked at her right hind ankle. There's a little bump on the outside. It's a little too low to be where there'd be an OCD surgery, so I was curious what had happened. They said it was just scar tissue. Nothing. She cut herself in the field a long time ago, and it just healed back with some scar tissue on it. You can see it right there where Curtis is holding the camera. Really, it's a non-starter. It really means nothing. So obviously, it's one of those things you notice right away, and it gives you pause, and maybe you don't go and take a look or ask what had happened with the horse. Again, all these sales take place really fast. When you look at how quickly the horses go in and out of the ring, and how many there is, one after another, you know, they start to blend together. And if you're looking for horses, you really have to have all the information available on all of them. So now when you look at number 172, rather than just seeing a bump on her right hind leg and saying, I don't think so, you can look at number 172, see that bump on her leg and say it's just scar tissue. So she goes into the ring and she's looked at tomorrow. Her pedigree suggests we may be able to afford her. That bump on her ankle certainly makes me believe we can. So, filly, born January 28th, bar hopping filly, well put together, nice video, and a real nice body on her. Put all those together, and this is a filly we're going to be watching very closely here at Harrisburg. Number 172, Wish List, on our list here in Harrisburg. Well, this right here is what I would play as value. Value. Number 186, Una Hanover. Good family, top to bottom on this filly. She did have OCDs out of her hocks. She's a Cantab. A couple of Cantabs we liked. And, you know, we're always talking about ways in. How can we find our way into value when it comes to the sales? How can we buy the best horses for the smallest amount of money? First crop sires. We do a lot of business with first crop sires. And then you look at Cantab Hall, a little long on the tooth, but still a very quality sire. So we have a single jurisdiction filly by Cantab Hall. Oh, look at her. By Cantab Hall and her brother Ginger Tree Skyer, if I'm not mistaken. I beat Ginger Tree Skyer at the wire with White Tiger in his first ever stake race win. So I know the family a little bit. I know the filly. She's a good looking filly. She's well put together. But I would say for the right amount of money, we'll bring home Una Hanover, and I think we'll find it. In fact, there's not going to be many horses in this sale I'll say, you know, I think we'll buy that horse. I think we'll buy number 186 Una Hanover on day number 2 early, and I think you'll see her at the stable at some point in the fall. I could be wrong. It's a bold statement. A lot of horses here. But when I look at what I think this filly is worth, I think we can buy her. She's well put together. She's got a nice attitude. She's got a nice head. Her family's good. There's no reason not to buy her for the right price. So number 186 Una Hanover is a horse not only we're interested in, a horse I think we can buy. We'll see how that plays out on day number 2 here in Harrisburg. This is number 187 Arealis Hanover. This is a green shoe colt. It's not big. It's not striking. Looks kind of ordinary. But his brother's big and striking, and his brother is also part lunatic. His brother is Donadover. So this is a half-brother to Donadover. 6th foal, 4 winners out of the family already. So only one out of this family did not win a race. And if I'm reading this correctly, it was a Walner. So that is odd, to say the least. So 187 isn't a horse that you bring a ton of money. He is a green shoe. He is going to garner a little interest from people here at the sale. But he is not a standout by any means. That doesn't mean anything. There are tons of horses, over 900 horses here, and most of them aren't standouts. We want to find the nicest horses we can for the smallest amount of money, virtually is the easiest way to put it. So when I look at this horse, I see a lot of pedigree, a lot of strength. I mean, you look at the 3rd dam, it is Andover Hall. All right, Angelette Hanover, $317,000 in the 2nd dam. Annie Hall. I love how they all branch off in the 2nd and 3rd dams. And then you look at the top dam, you have Donadover, $300,000. Mark of 52-1, I believe. I was sitting behind him the day he took that mark in the Meadows, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll be quite frank with everybody. He looks nothing like Donadover, but looks a little more sensible and a little more manageable. He is a green shoe. It is a first crop. This is a single jurisdiction in Pennsylvania. I could give you a couple of reasons why we could or should buy this guy, but ultimately it will all depend on value. Number 187, Ariellis Hanover, selling tomorrow. Nope, that's not true. Selling on early on day number 2 here in Harrisburg. Number 295, this is Gold Bug Hanover. It's a beautiful green shoe filly, but this is also Locatelli's sister. Now, she doesn't look anything like Locatelli's, big, strong bugger. This filly's a little more defined now. I wouldn't call her dainty. She got a pretty decent-sized butt on her. Her shoulders are a decent size for her height. I think she's a blockier, stockier type filly, but she's nowhere near the size of Locatelli. So a green shoe, April 20th, again, single jurisdiction filly out of a Conway Hall mare. That mare, girly tough, had 8 previous foals, so this is the 9th foal. And that one of those foals is Locatelli. So obviously, there's no reason not to like this filly. I can tell you we probably can't, shouldn't, might not be able to afford Gold Bug Hanover, but that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this job. Because on the off chance that Gold Bug Hanover does not achieve the number I have written right here on the screen, then there's a good chance Gold Bug Hanover will be coming to thestable.ca. Number 295, Gold Bug Hanover, beautiful filly here by Green Shoe, selling on day number 2 in Harrisburg. This is number 208, Bella Mead. Oh, Belle Mead. Belle Mead. The Pennsylvania, Kentucky dual eligible filly, April 2nd. International money filly, first foal from a Trixton mare. That Trixton mare is a sister to Adore Me. Direct family of Bold Dreamer, Pampered Princess. When you look, the 1st and 2nd dam aren't super strong, but the entire family is good up to bottom. It's very strong on the bottom side of it too, but you know, all of that leads us to this horse, leads us to number 208 in the Harrisburg sale, 2022. And she is a really, really good looking filly. I noted in her video, I thought her video was okay, kind of ordinary looking video. Her pedigree was okay, kind of ordinary pedigree. But this is one of the nicer looking international monies that we've seen, maybe this year. She is perfectly put together. She looks really, really nice. She has got a very nice body on her and a sharp eye. I like number 208, Belle Mead, for a number of reasons. And we'll see. We'll see what she brings in the sale on day number 2. We'll be watching this one very, very close. Number 208, April 2nd, dual eligible filly by international money. Her name is Belle Mead. All right, thank you. Any OCDs in this one?
I'll have to check. I don't know there was none. There's nothing on the
Awesome, thank you. Sorry. This is number 253, Laser Sharp. You might say, whoa, hold the phone, Anthony. We'll listen to Captain Treacherous's and a bunch of other horses, but what are we doing looking at a Lazarus colt? Well, I'm a little nostalgic too, everybody. This is a Sweet Lou mare. This is the 2nd foal from that mare. Now that mare is a sister to a mare named Dancin' Barefoot. That may ring a bell. It may not, because Dancing Barefoot's son has not really been with us that long, although he is a very nice horse. Laser Sharp is out of a Sweet Lou's sister to Cintra's mom. Dancing Barefoot is the mother of Cintra. Cintra is the brother to Dancing Lucille, and Dancing Lucille is the mother of Laser Sharp. So I thought I would take the time to look at Laser Sharp, a Lazarus colt. The Lazarus has showed up pretty good this year. Some really nice horses in that family, and a really, really good looking horse here. I have no faults with this colt whatsoever. It's well put together, stands nice and correct. No faults here. I don't know what to tell you. What do you price Laser Sharp at? I just happened to catch this in the catalog, who it was by, who it was out of. I don't know how to price this horse, but I will over the next 24 hours, and we'll take a look. No rush. He's not selling until day number 2. What a good looking horse. Only New Jersey eligible, so single eligible colt, February 13th by Lazarus. Selling here in Harrisburg on day number 2. Thank you.
Own a little and love it a lot. Thestable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. Thestable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at thestable.ca.
By now, you know the name COSA TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. COSA TV, taking Ontario racing global.
Okay.
By now,
All right, welcome back to Harrisburg, day number 2. As the sale will get underway at the top of the hour, we're only about 13 minutes away, in fact, as the session will begin in just a little bit time. Joined now on the desk here, Steve Stewart, Hunterton Farms. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. I know it's been really busy. Nice thing for us is right to our left.
Yeah, we're right here.
You're
we
right
don't
here.
have to, 2 steps away.
2 steps
That's
away,
exactly right.
exactly.
That's right.
Let's talk a little bit about day number 1. You said you sold just a few horses, but a very good day number 1, just like it was for many people. The sale was really strong.
Yeah, it was very strong. We sold, the sale kind of was talking to Dale, the head guy here, and he was saying that, it was frustrating because it kind of started off a little slow, but we sold, hip number 21 brought 150,000. I was surprised that she brought that much, but being a Walner, the good thing is, the Walners, the Chapter 7s, the Muscle Hills, they will surprise you on the upside more than they do on the downside. So she sold very well. We sold a Captain Crunch for 95,000, which was very good, and a Green Shoe for 60. So we had a very good day. But I think, it's not like we have any special sauce. If you've got a good horse, it will sell, and they'll find a good horse. I always make the joke that you could try to hide if you were trying to buy out your partner or whatever and do some mischievous things. You took the horse and put it in the last stall on the left and unscrewed the light bulb in the stall, they'll still find it. It's amazing how they will find a good horse.
The way that the sales have been the last few years, so strong, a records in Lexington, a record
Every
day number
year.
1 here.
Every year.
I asked somebody yesterday about the fact, do we think this can hold up going forward? But for the time being, I think everyone's just happy to keep cashing in.
And I think it will. Kentucky is probably the perfect place, and that's where we come from or whatever. So all our horses are dual eligible, which is a huge advantage for us. But what's nice in Kentucky is, we all worry about hares or whatever who don't want us at the tracks. We understand that, but that's our money.
Yeah.
And we should not, as an industry, we should not look at it as it's a subsidy. It's not a subsidy. That's the deal that was struck when they came into our gambling venue or whatever all these many years ago. So we should stand up and say, and fight and say, that's our money. But the nice thing in Kentucky is that separates Kentucky over any other jurisdiction, Ontario or wherever, is that we don't have casinos in Kentucky that own the racetracks. All the racetracks are owned by Churchill Downs. All the racetracks are, all the casino part of the slot machines and whatnot that generate a lot of our money is coming from. There's not a third entity. You know, you got the horsemen and you got the racetracks, and then everybody else has the casino that owns the track. But all the tracks are owned by Keeneland owns, you know, the Red Mile, Churchill Downs. They're the ones that control it. And, you know, Churchill Downs is the big elephant in Kentucky. They really control the state house and whatnot, you know, and they can throw a lot of money just like the casinos can, and that's our fear, is that they can control, they have the most money than horsemen do. So it'll always be a fight, but we have the argument. We have in my opinion, we have the argument in the fact that that's our money. So I think it will hold up. I think that, you know, if you just look at the USDA website every day, it gives you year-to-date, you know, purses, and we're up 50 million over last year. That's a lot of money. Yeah. And I always tell people in the standardbred business, you know, we live in thoroughbred land, and thoroughbred land is a little bit la-la land when it comes to value of horses and whatnot. You know, a lot of those horses sell as pieces of art. There's no justification for the value of them, just like a piece of art is the same way. But ours is very simple. You know, it's money in, money out. If the money is there to race for, standardbred people will pay the money to do it. So, and that's what's driving the value. It's not like somebody decided the last couple years that standardbred should be worth more. No, that people are earning more money. And we're pretty much economy proof. It appears to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere else. That's what I was telling George Siegel yesterday. I said, I don't know any other business that you could possibly be in right now but it still goes back to the same thing I said before, is we're in a unique situation where Ronnie Burke or whoever comes and buys a yearling, they know what the money will be next year.
Yeah.
You know, and if you buy Bitcoin or you buy any other investment, you don't know. You don't know what is going to happen or whatever. You know, you got a war, you got this, you got that, all the outside influences, but at least we kind of know what our horses are going to be racing for, and I think that's what gives a comfort level for the value.
Yeah, of course. And you know what's interesting now, as we were talking before we came on camera, the fact that there's several jurisdictions that the money is really strong in now. It's not just
almost
a few,
everyone.
Every single
almost
one,
everyone.
like you said. And now for yourselves, we were talking before we came on about the fact that you used to have to go to those Ohio sales. Now you can sell Ohio breds here because of the fact that
and they'll come here.
They'll come find you.
Absolutely right. And it the wonderful thing in our business is the churn. In other words, Ken Jacobs sells or syndicates or sells most of Walner for $8 million. Well, what's he do? The last 3 years he's bought 3 yearlings from us for $1.5 million in Lexington. Has done very well, Walner Payton and whatnot, but everybody takes the money. You know, Dave McDuffie sells Venerable or whatever. What's he going to do with that money? He's going to take the money and put it right back in and buy more yearlings. So there's a wonderful churn on the money where, you know, they buy our yearlings. The guys that buy our yearlings sell the fillies back to the breeders, and it's just because a lot of them don't. They just want to race. Exactly. And that's the fun part of our business. And the good thing is, it separates us from the thoroughbreds, is that you have what drives our business is the racetrack. It's the purses. It's not. I think what drives their business is the sales, where they just sell these horses for so much money or whatever, and that's their churn, I guess, or whatever. But the racetrack drives our business, and that's and purses.
Certainly does.
And that's the good part.
You're right about that. And I would be remiss if I did not ask you about the Mohawk Million, because the fact that we were standing in the winner's circle there almost 2 months, about a month and a half ago.
Yeah, right.
One of the best interviews I have done all year. I got to learn about the turtle on the post. And for those that maybe aren't aware, you can find the replay. Go to Woodbine Replays on YouTube. You can see our post-race interview. But the turtle on the post, I've gotten so many comments on this, and then I show up in Lexington, and there's a turtle on the post at your consignment.
Yeah, my partners, the reference was the turtle on the fence post. If you ever see a turtle on the fence post, you know that the turtle didn't get there by himself. And so I get to stand in the winner's circle, and I've got a lot of guys that help me. I'm the turtle, and I got up on the fence post because there's a lot of people that help me do that or whatever, and that was the reference. But yeah, so a lot of the partners are Amish guys that from Indiana, the Schmuckers and and Victor Zayer and all these guys or whatever that have horses with us or whatever, and they've really helped us become Hunterton that it is now, where we sell sail toppers and whatnot. Is we've pooled all our money, and all of us figured out how to get that turtle on top of the fence post. So it was really, so what they ended up doing was they built houses. So obviously they took some time and put some wood, and they built this little post or whatever, and got a plastic turtle and put him on there. So we put it at the Ark and Simon in Lexington. So yeah, it was a great thing. That was a special night for sure.
It's been
it was
a
lot
fun
of fun.
year.
Yeah,
It's
it
been a
has
fun
been. I
year
mean,
for
it's nothing seems to back away, except Rebuff not winning the Hamiltonian that he came up, but he redeemed himself in the Kentucky Futurity at the hometown track, so that was good.
Certainly. Now, looking at Harrisburg, we've talked a lot about Kentucky. That's home for you. Coming here, how different is that for just the whole crew and for your operation?
Well, it is different. I enjoy it. You know, some people are like, oh, Harrisburg. I look forward to Harrisburg. I really do. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that at Lexington, you've got the farm, and all the clients come into the farm, so it's about a 3-ring circus. Here, they sell during the day. You can kind of have your nights free or whatnot, so that really helps. But I really enjoy Harrisburg. I think it's, with the mixed sale later or whatever, is I think it's our true convention, and it's all under one roof and whatever. Lexington is so spread out, and trainers are training their horses and whatever. It's more or less just get down and find your next champion type of thing, and they're here. You know, and everybody used to always say, oh, well, Hunterton sells all their best horses in Lexington, but Forbidden Trade we sold here to Determination about 4 or 5 years ago, won the Hamiltonian. So we've sold plenty of good horses here too. So
absolutely, the track record
it works
speaks
out.
for itself.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it works out, and we have some nice horses this year too. So. But we anticipate a good sale again today.
Well, we're looking forward to day number 2. Thanks for taking some time to join us.
Sure.
Like we said, you were just over our shoulder.
Yeah.
We had to get you on the desk before the week was
right.
done.
If you have time, get Cindy in here or whatever. She's probably a better talker than me. Doesn't talk as fast or as whatever, but you'll learn more probably.
Well, thanks, Steve, for joining us. Good luck here today. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll take a timeout and be right back live from Harrisburg.
Reach the people you have to reach by advertising in Harness Racing Update, the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU provides the best bang for your advertising dollars because we reach and engage your potential customers anywhere in the world. Not only has HRU grown its subscriber base by nearly 30% in just 3 years, but our open and click rates far exceed industry averages, which tells us that readers are engaged with the digital publication and how they receive it. Plus, your ad support helps us keep HRU free to subscribers. Find out more today by visiting harnessracingupdate.com and clicking on the advertising link at the top of the page.
As the industry's leading sales agency, Preferred Equine recently introduced its exciting new online sales portal, Preferred Equine Online. Developed by our experienced sales team, the powerful new platform with cutting-edge technology makes buying and selling easy from the comfort of your home or office over any device. Our experienced sales team offers full customer service for buyers and sellers as it relates to the collection, distribution, and transfer of the horses offered. Sellers can enter a horse as easy as 1, 2, 3 with a searchable database while allowing comments, photos, and other documents. Buyers can view live pedigrees, past performances, and race videos. To create your account or learn more, visit www.preferredequine.com or call 914-773-7777.
Own a little and love it a lot. Thestable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. Thestable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at thestable.ca.
By now, you know the name COSA TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. COSA TV, taking Ontario racing global.
But they're not quite in this level.
All right, everybody, we are back live in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, getting set for day number 2, the Standardbred Horse Sales Company annual auction, 84th annual auction. And we've been talking a lot about leading sires, so of course we had to get Fred McDonald joining us on the desk here. And Fred, what a good week it's been so far.
Nice to be here, Mark. Thanks for that kind interview. Introduction. Sorry, it's early in the morning.
It is a little early in the morning. You come and make a visit here this time of the year. Was this always on your radar? Come for
Yes,
Harrisburg?
yeah, I've been here a few times. I've been in Kentucky a few times since then, the Atlantic Sires and Woodbine, London Fair. Got to take care of Greg Blanchard. So yeah, I go to all those shows.
You've been out here enjoying the week so far. Watching Anthony and the stable have a pretty active day number 1. You got to be, just like everybody else, really proud to see the growth of the stable over the last several years.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I remember when they started out and I had shares in a couple of horses and it started small, but it's really, I think he's got around 1,000 clients in 14 countries. But it's a tribute to the guys like yourself and Curtis and Anthony and Amy and all the people that work for them. You know, to make things happen, to see the growth, the way it's gone now, it's just unbelievable. Everywhere you go, even Cheryl, every racetrack, people will come up and talk to you and say, I got shares in this and I got shares in that. So that's a nice feeling.
Back home for you in PEI, I always really enjoy hearing the stories back there, and as well hearing how close attention they pay to the racing in Ontario. And you mentioned it to me. You said they probably watch it closer than the people in Ontario even do.
When people come in Ontario, come down Old Home Week and they have horses and stuff like that, and the guys will say to me, I wonder if these guys in the Maritimes know about these horses. I said, listen, pal, the guys in the Maritimes know about every horse that's racing in Ontario, Ontario and the Meadowlands and Yonkers. They know all about them. They're great race fans in Atlantic Canada. It's really stronghold of racing in Atlantic Canada, Charlottetown. You know, there's more than 400 broodmares now in Atlantic Canada. It's a growth of about 20% in 2 years. So things are booming down there, and a lot of it, there's a lot of shareholders in the stable.
Yeah, there certainly is. Talk a bit about how the year's been out in Atlantic Canada. You know, I can't believe I'm going to admit this. I've never been.
Oh my
and
God,
I know
Mark.
we already talked this week that I'll likely make that trip to Old Home Week. But how's it been? And especially coming out of the pandemic, it looked like Old Home Week this year was just like old times.
It was 22,000 this year. And by the way, I hope to see Premier Dennis King in the next little while. And I'm going to say, Dennis, there's a guys here that write for these magazines that want to come to PEI. So I'll be talking to them and we'll see what happens.
I think you've invited half of Harrisburg to PEI.
No, just two of them. Just two of them. Both writers. One out of New York and one out of Toronto. But they can write about the horse racing and the golf and things, reasons why they come to Atlantic Canada, in particular Charlottetown.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing about Old Home Week. It just sells itself, doesn't it? Just coming to the island sells itself.
That's it. Well, 22,000 at the Gold Cup and Saucer. 22,000. That's probably the biggest attendance of any harness races event in North America last year. 22,000. You all jammed into one little spot. You couldn't get accommodation. You have to go to Summerside or Montague. But it's only 25 or 30 minutes away, so it's no big deal.
You can make it, no problem. On Sunday, we were here all day looking at the yearlings. How much did you enjoy that part?
Loved it. My God, the way they present the horses down here. And, you know, when you sit back and look at the people in the Maritimes, I see quite a few of them here today. Jill Berrio, Wayne McRae, Ronnie McDonald, who else? Wayne McGee, quite a few from Cape Breton. So they see the presentation here and they take it back home to PEI, and then when their horses go in the ring and Charlottetown and the Croppo sale, they emulate what's happening here and in Kentucky and at Western Fair and in Woodbine.
Of course, we're getting a good look at what's going on here today as the sale has just kicked off for day number 2. It's going to be a bit of a marathon day. We hung in there yesterday, over double the amount of horses selling today. But the one thing about it, I find, the camaraderie. It's a social event as well. Everybody getting a chance to catch up and have a good conversation. A lot of people you've probably seen this week they hadn't seen in quite some time.
That's right. And then with COVID, Jackie Mosiev was there. It's funny, the lady that works for Jackie Mosiev, Jamie McDonald, she lives right next to me in Kingston. And she come home the day the hurricane hit. So thanks, Jamie, for taking home the nice, kind weather, wherever you are.
You know, I was talking about leading sires. We talked about Anthony and what the stable's done. You have to be so proud of all your sons. Mark's here. We were catching up with him yesterday. James couldn't make the trip, but he's having another heck of a year. It's got to be a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, it is a lot of fun to watch, and to see Mark win the Breeders' Crown last week, but I could not believe that he left off the rail, and I was talking to Michelle Michael Lachance yesterday, and he said, couldn't believe it, unbelievable drive, leave off the rail and make front and keep trucking. It was, it was gratifying after Mark got hurt his shoulder there, so it's great to see Anthony have a number of horses in major stakes. Didn't win, they're in it. 3 or 4 of them in it. They had a banner year of the stable, and I look at that and I see King's Council, I see Patrick DePeran, and I see Atlas Hanover, Sintra.
Yeah.
I mean, my gosh, the number of great horses they have in the stable now, it's great, and it's great to see a niner like Harry Poulton, who joined the stable 3 or 4 years ago. Now he's one of the top trainers back where he was 30 years ago.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, Sintra.
Before you were born.
You're not wrong. But Sintra, I mean, nearly won the preferred there last week. Revitalized, I guess you could say, when Anthony brought him into the stable, his career. Not to say that he was washed up, but this was a horse that once won the Canadian Pacing Derby, and now look at the level he's gotten back to. It's kind of great to watch and see a horse like that, a fan favorite, so to speak, having a lot of success.
Absolutely, and to see the drive that Anthony gave him Old Home Week from the 9-hole to make sitting third and then moving before the half was a picture-perfect drive. Ever since Anthony got the new colors, I'm trying to figure out who's underneath there. Is it John Campbell or Billy O'Donnell or what? His training is dropping the edges by 350, I think. Well, that's good. I love to see it.
Yeah, you do, for sure.
And have James winning. I love to see James. I was there the other night, and he won 4 or 5. So he's leading money-winning driver and leading money-winning and leading dash-winning driver in Canada. So it's pretty happy. I know Gail's down there, my wife, and she loves to see them doing well, as we all do.
I will say it's been a real good run for the McDonalds. We made the drive down here on Sunday, got to share a lot of stories, and I'm sure we're going to add a few more.
Yeah, you and Curtis talked all the way down. I never got a word in.
I'm sure nobody at home believes that. Come on, easy now. We can't be making up lies here. Anyways, Fred, the sale's underway now. I know you're going to enjoy day number 2. I got to ask Anthony, has he roped you into any shares here this week yet?
No, I'll have shares in Anthony's horses. I always do, but I definitely will this year.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, Fred, thanks so much. We're going to have a fun week here. Day number 2 underway, as we mentioned. Let's take a quick time out. Fred may join us before the week is done. He's always lurking around here, so we might get you on the desk again. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you very much, Mark.
All right, let's take a quick time out. We'll be right back live from Harrisburg.
Own a little and love it a lot. Thestable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. Thestable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at thestable.ca.
This is number 253, Laser Sharp. You might say, whoa, hold the phone, Anthony. We'll listen to Captain Treacherous's and a bunch of other horses, but what are we doing looking at a Lazarus colt? Well, I'm a little nostalgic too, everybody. This is a Sweet Lou mare. This is the second foal from that mare. Now that mare is a sister to a mare named Dancin' Barefoot. That may ring a bell, it may not, because Dancin' Barefoot's son has not really been with us that long, although he is a very nice horse. Laser Sharp is out of a Sweet Lou's sister to Cintra's mom. Dancin' Barefoot is the mother of Cintra. Cintra is the brother to Dancin' Lucille, and Dancin' Lucille is the mother of Laser Sharp. So I thought I would take the time to look at Laser Sharp, a Lazarus colt. The Lazarus has showed up pretty good this year. Some really nice horses in that family, and a really, really good looking horse here. I have no faults with this colt whatsoever. It's well put together, stands nice and correct. No faults here. I don't know what to tell you. What do you price Laser Sharp at? I just happened to catch this in the catalog, who it was by, who it was out of. I don't know how to price this horse, but I will over the next 24 hours, and we'll take a look. No rush. He's not selling until day number 2. What a good looking horse. Only New Jersey eligible, so single eligible colt, February 13th by Lazarus. Selling here in Harrisburg on day number 2. Thank you. This is number 276, Natalia. Now in fairness, we have a muscle mass filly we've already spent a pile of money on. That is in Ontario, jogging right now. Very, very happy with her. So it would stand to reason we don't need another one. But I was just commenting to Steve that of all the muscle masses we've looked at, and I love the filly we already have. Very nice filly. This filly, although she looks like a muscle mass, she looks like a race car. Man, she's a good looking filly. This is number 276. This is a sister to Bautista, an April 15th filly. You see Armbro Keepsake on the bottom of that. The second dam's not super strong, but the first dam is. Bautista was a very nice horse and continues to be a very nice horse. This is the kind of horse we would be after, but really when I talk out loud about it, we're here looking to fill shopping bags and laundry lists of horses we need and groups we need, and Ontario Trotting Fillies is not one of them. So although I love 276 and I would love to buy her, she would have to fall into our lap, which is highly, highly unlikely, but nevertheless is a very, very good looking filly. Number 276 selling from Concord here on day number 2. Her name is Natalia. This number 299 going international. Not a big colt. Issue is international money colt, so I like the colt to begin with. Issue with this guy is dual eligibility, right? Pennsylvania, that Massachusetts just always seems to put lots of money on the pages of the horses. So I'm a little curious to begin with. Are we going to be able to afford a horse like this? Secondly, a decent family crazed mare. Let me see here. 3 foals, 3 winners, so that's pretty good. Lindy's Crazy Hall, 175,000 by Cantab Hall. Another Cantab Hall on here, and another one that's not showing. So decent pedigree, top to bottom, great video, strong looking colt. But I am concerned about that dual eligibility. It just finds a way to, you think you have a horse that's worth 25 or 30, and it ends up going for 60 or 70. It just always seems to be that now it's Kentucky and wherever, but now it also is Massachusetts. So this is a Pennsylvania and Massachusetts May 16th colt by International Money out of a crazed mare who's batting 1,000, 3 for 3, and a decent family underneath. My goodness, Swan Voyage, number 476. It's an April 14th tactical landing filly. New Jersey trotting fillies? Yeah, we could use with a couple. Good family, Swan by Land, now 60,000 by Muscle Hill. Second dam is a dam of Swan Image, 628,000. Magic Swan, Swan in a Million, Swan for All are all in the second dam. This one is, as I said, a tactical landing filly. What a big, good-looking filly this is, and well put together. You could talk me into thinking this was a much higher number than 476. My goodness, she is well put together. Moves nice. Now I see it. Her knees are a little bit offset, this filly. If you look at especially the left knee, now he's not doing a very good job squaring her up, but that left knee is a little bit offset. Back her up. There you go. Her left knee is a little bit offset, so that probably is the reason that she's back here at number 476. And it's not that bad. So, there you have it. Mystery solved. Number 476. What are you doing back here at the end of the sale? Well, toed in a little bit, little offset in her left knee, and given the size of this filly, it might be a problem moving forward. Can you just ask him to back her up one step? You can back her up one there or walk her up. That'll work too. One more. There you go. Ugh, never mind, Curtis. Just erase that video.
Day number 2 is underway here in Harrisburg, and I just wanted to take everybody away from the desk and just show you how close and how intimate everything is. Over my shoulder right there, that's the Hunterton consignment. Right there, right to the left of our desk where we've been talking. Then you come right over here, and Curtis and I are going to go for a little stroll. Right here is where they bring the horses into the ring. These are the horses that are about to enter. About 4 in advance will come on in. They'll get them ready, one last look for everybody, and then they bring them into the main arena. And this is just how close we are. You can see our desk, the lights back there, Hunterton consignment, people checking out yearlings. Meanwhile, just steps away, you come into the main arena. Now, it's going to get pretty loud in here. And again, the one thing about it, people keep coming in all day long. It's kind of a constant traffic flow. And here's where they bring the horses right into the main arena. And this is where all the action goes down. So it just shows you how intimate this place is. Now, this place is very large. You think about it, there's about 1,000 horses selling here this week. And you go from right there, where there's a consignment, to into the main arena. And now a few more steps out here. And now we're coming over to Spring Haven, Preferred not too far away, Blue Chip as well. It's a beehive of activity around here, a lot always on the go. And the one thing about it, even when the sale gets underway, the work never stops. Everybody's still checking out their yearlings, inspecting them, and like I said, it just keeps on going. So it's quite the operation if you've never been here. For myself, pretty eye-opening. First time ever to Harrisburg. Really a lot of fun just to see the entire operation that goes on here. As I mentioned, day number 2 is underway, and with that, we're going to wrap up here in just a moment. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll take a closer look at some of the purchases that thestable.ca will make today. Nothing yet to this point that we can report on, but Anthony, he's not going to join us before we have to wrap up because, like we said, the sale's underway. He's out there keeping a close eye on things and hoping to make a few more additions to the stable. 4 purchases yesterday. We'll see how many they're able to acquire today. We were able to take a closer look at some of those potential targets for the stable, so we hope you enjoyed those videos. We'll also, if we have the opportunity, catch up and get some videos with some of those horses that are purchased today if we haven't already. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage here today. We are back at it tomorrow. We'll be on the air around 9 a.m. And like we said, we'll continue to give you a behind-the-scenes look at the sale here in Harrisburg. I hope everybody's enjoyed today's coverage. Have a great Tuesday. We'll chat again later on.